Somehow I mass mute on the microphone. Don't ask me how that happened. I must have bumped it some kind of way. You see, it's still in the plastic. I've never touched the controls, but somehow I happened to do that. So my apologies. Thank you very much for your quick alertness. And here we go. So anyway, welcome to with all these crazy things already happening. The show hasn't even started yet. Welcome to What the Fuck Tuesday. My name is Deborrah Cooper. I've been an advice columnist for many, many, many years, going on 30. And what we're gonna do tonight is go over. I'm gonna respond to some advice questions that were sent in to the channel. Over the past couple of weeks. And since we've been doing two columns, two shows a week covering advice letters, we're going through them a lot faster than we normally do, which is actually a good thing. So it's getting rid of a little bit of a backlog that we've had. If you would like to see your advice question on this show, please look in the show description down below and you will see a link that says Get Advice. Click it, fill out the form, and submit your question. Be sure to include all pertinent information and do not be going around roads and miles around through the forest and over hill and dale telling me all kind of stuff. Well, and then I felt, and then I swallowed some gum, and then a bird flew by. I don't need to know all that. Just give me the details of the question, okay? So here we go. My lovely cover sheet prepared by cousin Candace says that I have 25 questions today. See, no way I'm gonna be able to do all this. I'm gonna do as many as I can, and y'all gonna have a brief intermission while I run and get my water. Okay, probably about I don't know 30 seconds or so, maybe a minute, because now my feet hurt from the therapy. That man dogged me. Okay, here we go. This is question number one. This is from young man in the 35 to 40 age group out of Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm 37. I met this 40-year-old lady on a dating app. We talked through the app a bit, then traded phone numbers. We texted a few days and decided to meet one Saturday. The Thursday before we were going to meet, we were texting. Then, unsolicited, she sent a nude. The conversation got flirty. I guess it did. I started drinking and she kept sending me more nudes. Next thing I know, I am buzzed and horny and invited her over. She said she didn't have a car, so I paid for an Uber. When she showed up, she was 100 pounds heavier than in the photos. Whatever, we went too far and hooked up. 25 letters, Sue. I took her home the next morning. Oh, so girlfriend spent the whole night and she seemed upset that I had to go to work. She blew up my phone on Friday. Understandable. Well, how's that understandable? You put it down that hard? We talked a bunch and she ended up convincing me to get a hotel reservation for after our date on the upcoming Saturday night. I went to her house Saturday evening. Instead of eating, we went straight to the hotel. We got room service and later we hooked up again and then stayed up late talking. There she let all her crazy out. Well, he didn't seem to be too bothered about it since he was hitting it all night long. So whether she catfished or not, dude was like a whatever. She told me her life story of getting knocked up at 18 and married the first guy she slept with. They did hard drugs and he beat her. She got divorced and lost custody of the kids to him eventually. She kept doing hard drugs for the next decade, sold them for a bit, and was assaulted 4 different times and robbed a couple of times, and just had her car stolen 2 weeks ago by her sister, who is still on drugs, and her prepaid credit card just got stolen with her quote life savings on it, and she said a lot of other crazy shit. I was in a room with her and it was like 3 a.m. I lied and said I was not judging her. The next morning, we had planned on going to get coffee and walk around the mall, and I didn't know how to bail, so I took her. She told me more stuff about how she was ready to bounce back and be a better person, and I am bringing out the normal in her. Deb, the truth is, I wanted to run, but was afraid she may remember where I live. She said she does not do drugs anymore, but I don't believe her. There's too much drama from me. Every fiber in my body says run. I just don't know how. Do I tell her the truth and say it's not me, it's you? Do I ghost her? Do I lie and say I'm talking to other women or something? I cannot lead her on any further. How do I distance myself and ditch this crazy woman? This is a what would Deb do if Deb were a dude? I would be like, I got other women, right? Because I don't want you starting to think that that we a couple or nothing because we hit it a couple of times. I enjoy your company and stuff, but I just want to make it clear that I'm not trying to settle down with one person. I'm a hoe. And you know what hoes do? They fuck around. So just in case you had any kind of desires or fantasies that we was gonna be getting together in some kind of way, I want to let you know. It ain't that kind of party. And that's what I would tell her. And so she may be upset, but what you gonna do? Because if you say somebody say that she's a hoe, he's a hoe. I mean, what you just want to screw around with a hoe? I mean, somebody told you straight to your face that that's all he's trying to do. That's the approach I would take if I were a guy. That's what I would do. And yes, she would get mad, but you know what? She would get over it, and I would get rid of a crazy broad. It sounds like a perfect situation for me. A perfect solution. All right, let us move on to question number two. Hey, I'm trying to tell you, Michelle, sometimes you just got to just come right out with it. Don't be trying to play games and ghost people and all that kind of stuff. You have to tell, even if it is a lie, because I mean, he might not be that kind of guy. You know what I mean? But you better become that kind of dude to get rid of this crazy broad. Talk about she ready to be a normal person, and I'm bringing out the normal her. She's trying to make a play. So, yeah, I would be such. Well, they say a heart has no conscience. That's why when she showed up and she was like twice the size as he thought she said she was in the picture, he would just let her come on in anyway, and he still hit it. He was like, "Oh, whatever, but come on in here, girl. All of you, both of you." Oh, I mean, yeah, I've noticed that the hold on a second. The stream keeps buffering for some reason, and I'm trying to figure out why. And it's not really, I don't know what to do about it. But yep, it sure is buffering like crazy. And sometimes YouTube does this, and sometimes it's like perfect. I don't know what to say. It's really acting up tonight. Hmm. As such, hold on a second, I'm reading what it says here. As such, huh? Yep, it says you viewers will experience buffering. I'm looking at the settings. Hold on a second. I wonder if there's anything I can do about this while the show is in process. Probably not. I'd have to go out and um, and like start the show all over again with different settings, and I don't think that's gonna work. But anyway, I don't know what it is. It's YouTube. It does that to me sometimes. But let's move on and work on question number two. This is from a male in the 50 to 55 age group from Indianapolis, Indiana. First time writer, but a long time listener from your Blog Talk Radio days. But here goes. My wife, who's 41, was offered a job out of state. I'm 52, and we discussed and decided that it wasn't worth it. Then she, a month later, came home and said she was going to check it out. She left 2 days later and came back a week after that. She said she loved it and wanted us to relocate. She quit her job and left the next day. I was supportive as a husband should be. I stayed with the kids to finish school. We talked and looked at houses for a month. Then she got her first check, went out drinking, and did not answer my calls or texts for 2 days. The third day, she informed me that this was all a plan to leave me and the kids. I offered to go counseling or work on the marriage, but she said it has gone too far. She said I should have seen it coming. She was trying to stay busy and not think about it, but she continued to chat just as friends. She wasn't even talking about our kids who are 16, 12, and 11. She said that she wanted us to visit, so I planned a trip. Leading up to it, everybody was excited. The first 2 days were great and everything was like old times. The next day, she went to work and came home in a bad mood. The rest of the week, she worked later and later, and her attitude was horrible, and she stopped talking to the kids. It was a bad week with her, obviously overstressed and not wanting us there. The morning we were leaving, she spent crying in bed and not talking. 2 days after the kids and I came back, she texted, "What if I want to come home?" I offered support and told her to come home and we would make it work. She then said she made a mistake, but she needed to live with it and make it successful. The next day, I tested positive for COVID. She yelled at me for having, and the conversation stopped. A few days later, she may have gone on a date with someone, but she had hid and lied about things ever since. I tried to be supportive, but she's not happy and not answering calls or texts. I've not tried to push her, but she's not talking to me or her family and just is focused on her new life. I have no one to talk to. The kids are having a lot of questions. Now I'm dealing with COVID and a lot of anxiety. My mother has become very concerned and wants me to talk to an attorney. I would like my family back together, but I have no idea what to do or how to act. Any thoughts or advice? Should I focus on just being supportive or wait? Should I start looking at a lawyer? First thing that you need to do, sir, is get well. Okay, make sure that you don't spread COVID to your kids. That's your first priority right now. Don't think about her. She's doing whatever she's doing, and you are the one responsible for the safety and the well-being of those the minors in your household. So your first and only focus at this moment right now is on getting better. And any side effects, because there's a lot of people that have long-term lingering effects from COVID, make sure those are under control. Okay, once that happens, then you can go and see an attorney, which is what I recommend. Go and see an attorney and file what's called a bifurcation, and that will separate any debts that you all are incurred as well as your assets from that point on, so that in case she runs out some credit cards or some in anticipation of you filing for divorce and wants you to have to be on the hook for half of it, you're going to put the brakes on that with this bifurcation. And um and you know and then make her pay child support. She got a job with all this, she making all this grand theft money now. Make her pay child support. You got a kid that's as young as 11, so that's going to be a long time before that kid turns 18. you know But even if you don't file for divorce, you might not want to take that step yet. You want to do what's, like I said, file the bifurcation to protect yourself financially, and then, just stay separated for a minute while you get your feet steady, get the household steady, decide what you want to do, how you're going to do it, then start making moves to a divorce. Don't just react all emotionally and, like you mad, and so you're going to get a divorce and all this. Don't do that. You have three little people looking at you to handle this like a G. And you need to do that thoughtfully, with some planning, with forethought, okay, with good sense. Okay, that's what you're going to do. All right. So you just wait. I mean, you wait on that. You're going to see a lawyer, like I said, to make sure, you tie up those kind of loose ends financially, close access to bank accounts, all this kind of stuff to protect your kids. But I don't think you're ready for divorce, to file for divorce yet, because you say, "I really would like my family back." But so that means you're not ready for that step. Don't take it until you are. You may never be, but as long as she's okay with it, y'all get to stay separated legally. You do your thing and she do hers. But you won't be financially tied to her after that. So it'll work out. This is from a female, question number 3, female 225, from Worthing in the UK. I'm 24 and I have a friend 24. We are very close and we do a lot for each other, but I have recently got a bit on the defensive since she is always asking to use my designer makeup and clothes whenever she comes to visit. I wouldn't honestly mind once in a while, but pay good money for these things, and it seems unfair since my makeup wears out pretty quickly when we are both using it every single time. And it's me paying for it, not her. I recently hinted to my friend that she couldn't use it anymore. And now I've heard she's been talking behind my back, calling me selfish and not a true friend, and complaining about not being able to use my stuff anymore. Wow. I disagree with her, but am I being selfish? Is it selfish to not want to share your things? No, it's not. I mean, I'm surprised you did it one time. I tell you the rule under which my grandfathers raised us. If you have to borrow something more than one time, that means you need your own. Okay, so by the time you do it the first time, okay, that could be a crisis. That could be, an emergency. I mean, it could be some real reason why you need to borrow whatever from somebody. Okay, but now you going back for seconds, thirds, 57s. That means you need your own. That's what that means. So I think you're nice because by the time she asked me the second time and I'm looking at, them MAC makeups and all that kind of stuff, that shit is pricey as hell. And when people not paying for it, they gonna be using the most. They gonna go around and around and around. They lips be an inch thick with your $25, $30. I mean, lipstick and stuff like that. No, no, take your ass on the Walgreens and get you some Maybelline or Walmart or something. But no, I'm with you. I don't think that's a problem. And is she wearing your clothes too? Where's her job and her money? Why she always got to be up in your closet and in your makeup drawer? I think that what you need to do is find your voice. Stop doubting yourself. You know very well that this is not fair and it's not right. So you tell her, unless you're going to start kicking down $100 every whatever quarter for the makeup that you use, you ain't using it, and nor are you using my clothes. You costing me money. I don't mind every once in a while, but you making it like a habit, like the shit is yours, and I'm not doing that. Yeah, people will walk off with your stuff. That's why I don't buy it. I order my stuff online. I like cheap. Well, the only time I really wear makeup is on the show, and maybe when I go out on a date, I might wear a little bit. But I'm not a makeup person. One of these times, I'm gonna surprise y'all though, because I got some lashes. A friend of mine sells them, so she sold me 3 pairs for like I don't know $7 or something. And so I have 3 pairs of false eyelashes. They're not them ones that look like caterpillar butterfly wings. Them real long things. These look more normal. And she showed me how to put them on and stuff. And I was sitting there feeling like my eyes was all heavy, you know. But I know how to do it now. So let's move on and let's talk about question number 4. This is from a young man in the 21 to 25 age group from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I'm 22 and my girlfriend is 21. She got into a road rage incident on her way home from work yesterday. I was at my house having a beer with a friend when she came home, upset and shaken up. Nothing outright illegal happened. Basically, this guy was tailgating her. He passed her up and flipped her off, and then they were both at the same light. He leaned out of his car window and called her a stupid B, the CUN word, etc. She got it all on camera. She put out her phone camera once he started driving aggressively. Good for her. That was good thinking. After she told us this and showed us the video, I calmed her down, gave her a glass of wine, told her to relax and take a shower. I felt really bad that this happened to her and I wish it hadn't. But assholes are assholes and they're all around us, so this shit happens sometimes. My friend who was over though got really angry. He was cursing, calling this guy a piece of shit and just really flipping out. He asked my girlfriend to send him the video and then he left. I guess my friend showed the video to some friends who are cops in town. And this guy ended up getting ticketed for reckless driving, a tail light out, and an expired registration. I'm glad he got screwed over. What I'm worried about is my friend's insane overreaction. I was under the impression he and my girlfriend were casual acquaintances at best. But the way he flipped out after this happened, getting so mad about it, and then within 3 hours making sure this guy got ticketed, made me wonder if he had deeper feelings for her. He made small side comments about how attractive my girlfriend is. I'm a lucky man, etc. He texted her this morning to see how she was doing. He was my friend first. My girlfriend met him and I on the same night out. I don't know. Am I overthinking this? Let's reframe this. Okay, let's reframe this because I know a whole bunch of people here are going to go immediately to he likes her and all this and all this. I'm gonna ask you a question though, dude. This is your girlfriend, and all you thought to do was tell her to take a shower, and you gave her a glass of wine. That's it. That's all you did. Your friend is the one who took action to vindicate her and make sure that this guy doesn't do this kind of stuff to any other woman. That should have been you. What he did should have been what your trifling two-bit piece of lazy ass did to protect your girl. But you didn't do nothing except give her a glass of wine that she could have poured herself. and had taken a shower, which she did do by herself. So really, you didn't do anything about her situation and her upset or anything, and your friend did. Now, that's how I see this. Some people will be like, "Oh yeah, he likes her, this and that," and they're gonna go off on that stupid tangent that don't have nothing to do with it. Because obviously, if he's your friend, he's gonna like and respect your girlfriend if she's a nice lady, right? I mean, why wouldn't he be respectful of her and like her and be right on your side, on your team with her? Why would he not do that? That's what friends are like. Your enemy is my enemy. Your friend is my friend. Who you love, I love. That's when you know you got a real friend. Okay? That's what friends do. They hate who you hate. They love who you love. They care about who you care about. That's what friends do. So for you to turn around and then want to like charge him with a crime for stepping up and doing some shit that you should have been doing is rather interesting thinking. So I'm not going to call you names and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to tell you to reframe this and think about how you could have handled this better. How you could have taken the action that your friend did to vindicate your girl and show her that you mean business about protecting her. Your friend did a better job than you did. That's what you need to be thinking about. Why am I such a milquetoast motherfucker? And my friend is the one who immediately ran out the door to make sure that that dude was taken care of and that situation was handled. You didn't do nothing. Sat there watching TV, drinking beer with your friend while she basically took care of the problem by herself. So I want you to think about that. Think about that. That's that you think about your action, your lack of action, and why you decided to take the path that you did, and then turn around and question his behavior. Because his behavior, if it was my man, I would want my man to do what he did. Because I would want to feel like my man was my Superman, my superhero. He gonna make sure don't nobody fuck with me. And if they do, they gonna pay for it. See, that's the kind of dude that women like, that women feel safe around, protected with, that we know is gonna do what he need to do to make sure that our bubble is clear and protective. You, on the other hand, didn't do anything. It's milquetoast. It's the French word, milk, milky. Oh yes, that's one of my favorite things to call weak dudes. Okay. Wow. It was an interesting letter. Let's move on to question number 5. See, you escaped because you're so young. If you was any older, I would be dragging you right now. But you're a young cat. You probably don't know about this. But I'm telling you, you better learn fast. And your friend, he can't be that much older than you. How come he know and you don't? Hmm. If I were her, I would dump you. I'd go for the friend. Question number 5. Female, 37 to 45 from Delaware. Newark, Delaware. I want to start by saying I love your channel. Thank you for sharing your knowledge as it has helped me to get through difficult times and situations by activating my what would Deb do mode. Smile. I've been watching your channel since last summer. Since then, I've been asserting myself and not letting people, especially men and these crazy Karens, talk to me any old kind of way. If the situation called for it, I didn't waste any time to cuss somebody smooth out. Ha ha. Unfortunately, yesterday I ran into a situation not knowing what to do. What would you do or what anyone would do? I was driving home in the middle of a storm. Oh. And I attempted to move into the right lane, unaware that there was a small SUV in my blind spot. The SUV jumped in front of me, then the driver slammed on his brakes twice. I knew he was setting me up to rear end him. Wow. We stopped at a light where at this point he was next to me. My window was still partially down from trying to see through my side view mirror. He was beet red and foamed like saliva flying from his mouth like a rabies infested animal. He hollered, "Stay in your fucking lane, N-word. I got white privilege." Yeah, that's right. I got white privilege. Stay in your lane, you effing N. Wow. I felt my jaw drop. With my eyes wide open, I just froze. He sped off and did a U turn, traveling in the opposite direction. I was angry and sad at the same time. I pulled into a shopping center so I could calm down. Then I called my dad because he always knows what to say. As I was telling him what happened, I broke down in tears because I'm just so sick and tired of everything we put through as a people. I was also extra sensitive because I just watched the first 2 days of the George Floyd trial. Vindicated like a mug today, by the way. I wanted to cuss that crazy white dude out, but I didn't want to end up like Ahmaud Arbery. That monster definitely looked angry enough to shoot me and speed off. A similar situation happened years ago to a young black girl in my area. She was shot and killed by an angry white driver. She and her grandmother had just come from the mall after purchasing an outfit for her graduation the next day. Auntie Dad, what would you have done in my situation? Well, let me see here. You were driving in a storm and you attempted to move into the right lane. You didn't see it. So then he jumped in front of you and slammed on his brakes trying to get you to uh, rear end him. I've had several situations like this, and what I did was I let them get in front of me. I slowed all down, let them get in front of me, and the next corner, I would put on my right turn signal like I'm gonna turn, but there has to be no cars over here, and then I turn left and I speed down the street and go, and that's what I've done 4 different times. One time I was getting on the freeway. You know how the freeway lanes, like, two or three, and then it merges into one, so you can, only one lane is feeding onto the freeway at a time. This guy, and this is like 7 o'clock in the morning. I mean, why are you so mad this early? So I'm getting on, and he got mad because I was, we're merging in, right? And I, speeded up. So I was ended up in front of him, and he got that mad. And he wanted to lay on his horn and just act all stupid. So I'm driving, my Honda was new at that time. This was some years ago. Like, it was brand new out the showroom, right? So I'm not trying to wreck my car. So I'm driving, and luckily I have good spatial senses and good reflexes. So I'm still trying to merge on, right, and he speeds up, and then he cut in front of me to try to do just what you said dude did to you. I hit that car, I jetted across and went into the next lane and was gone so fast I could see him in my rear view mirror. His car spun out and he was over on the side. They have like gravel and stuff, and it was a embankment, and his car was pointing down the embankment, and I was like, Kanye shrug. So that's what I would do. What you want to do in a situation like that is get away from those crazy people as quickly as possible. So he wants to go straight and play out, the first corner that you had the opportunity to turn into, that's what you do. You turn and you jet. Now I realize you were in a storm and you probably couldn't do too much jetting, but you're going to go as fast as safely as you can safely while he, is over there. He's going through the intersection, right? And he's still looking at you in the mirror mirror. He goes through the intersection. You turn and you go. Or he's going this way. You put your signal like you got to turn that way, and then you go this way. Whatever thing you can do, you want to put space between you and that guy, unless you packing and you can shoot too. In which case, if he starts cussing and stuff, you pull your piece out and then you say that again, and then bust his tire. You're not gonna shoot him. You're gonna bust his tire out, so he can't go nowhere and he can't stop in front of nobody. You could also do like, which I love this girl's way that she handled it. She pulled out her phone and started recording. Recorded the guy and got his license plate and this whole thing. That was very smart. So, but you were in a storm. I don't think you would have great visibility since you had to roll down your window to even see where you was going. That probably wasn't really an option for you under the circumstances. But just keep that in mind for the future, because you can also, just like the guy did, take that to the police station and file a report. This guy was, road raging me. He tried to run me off the road. He called me all kind of racial slurs. That's a hate crime. He threatened me as a woman. He said all this stuff about white privilege and all this stuff. So, that constitutes a hate crime. So, you there's the situation. I can't give you one answer to this. I can't say what I would do exactly, but it would be one of those things, whichever one was the safest to do under the circumstances. But your goal is always going to be, like I said, unless you in the car and you thugging and you packing your piece too. So if he is too jiggy, then you gonna start popping some caps on his ass. If that's not you, then you need to be prudent and put as much space as possible between you and the angry driver. You don't cuss with them. You don't argue with them because they're stupid. He could have been high on meth or something. You don't know what, people are doing these days. So you driving by yourself in a storm, it's already risky and dangerous enough. Get yourself away from nuts. That's the best advice that I can give you with this situation. Okay. Yeah, these people are crazy. They're crazy, and you don't sound like you that thug that's gonna whip out a Glock and say pow pow. So you do that and stay safe so you can come to the next show. Okay, you can live your life and do all stuff. We don't want you to be laid up somewhere in some funeral home. That's not cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me just, thank everybody who's new here. Thank you for stopping in and making the live stream. If you're not already a subscriber to this channel, please hit that subscription button and definitely stop for a moment and hit the like button to like the show. That we appreciate that as well. Let's move on to question number 6. This is from a young lady in the 22 to 30 age group from Hamilton, New Zealand. A guy asked me to hang out at his place on a Saturday evening to have takeout, watch a movie, and chill. I'm going to respond with the text below. Is this okay? Should I rephrase it to maybe make it more playful? Quote, I'm enjoying getting to know you and would love to see you again, but it's a bit too soon for me to come over to your place. End quote. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The end quote is after the next one. Can we do something else? End quote. Okay, so you want me to tell you if this is okay as it is, or should you rephrase it to make it more playful? No, I would say do the opposite and make it more direct. This is a good start, but you're using what I call feminine timidity words. um you couching it, you're not being that direct. Oh, I'm enjoying getting to know you and I would love to see you again, but it's a little bit too soon. That a bit too soon, you're softening the blow by choosing that kind of terminology. What would Deb do? When he asked me, I would have said, I'm not coming to your house. What's wrong with you? This ain't no booty call situation, clown. And that would have been that. I don't need to tell him I'm getting to know him and want to see him again and all this old shit. I don't give a fuck if I see you again or not, because you coming at me crazy and I don't like it. A lot of these dudes have this mentality that on the third date they think they getting some ass. That's why he wants you to be there, because the mattress is close by. And I mean, if that's your thing and you want to, you can certainly do that. You know what I mean? But if you're going to send a message to someone like this, you need to be very direct and you need to be very clear. But it's a bit too soon. So he's going to say, oh, a bit, well, maybe it's date 4. So, I'll just wait or something like that. And it's the kind of thing I would tell him, no, when I'm ready to go to that situation, if I ever get to that level with you, then I'll let you know. Until then, don't be trying to play these little stupid ass games with me. That shit'll get you fired. See, that's me. Well, see, my thing is, everybody want to do that Netflix and chill shit because they all cheap. And like I said, the couch is there. That's, a substitute bed. The floor is warm. He can have candles lit. He got his little brewskis or whatever laying there. And then the mattress with the fresh sheets all in the next room. He got it smelling good. He just wait. It's just like a spider web waiting for you to come, little fly. You little fly girl, you. So, I ain't going over to no dude's house. Plus, I don't trust these dudes. There's too much weirdness going on. You think you going over to the house and it's just going to be one dude and suddenly knock, knock, knock. Here come 3 or 4 of his friends looking you up and down like you a tasty hors d'oeuvre. And then you know what time it is. You be trying to get out. You be like that girl at Hofstra University got trapped in the bathroom with them dudes. And they were all like, well, it was consensual. How is consensual when it's a one way in and one way out and it's 5 of you and 1 of her and you blocking the door? Please explain to me how that even could even be remotely considered consensual. That's called coercion. You do it or else. And that's the kind of situation that you would run into, taking your happy asses up to these dudes' houses that you don't know. You don't do that shit. I don't trust men. I just don't trust them. It's too much. It's too much shit going on. Some shit be showing up in your drink. He gonna bring you a glass of water from the kitchen and all this kind of shit. And then you don't know what's in the water. You drink the water. Next thing you know, you wake up in the morning and then you trying to figure out what happened. You don't remember nothing. And it's all kind. No, no, we're not doing any of that. I'm not. Mm-mm. Nope. So you think about this because a dude kind of proposing this kind of stuff to me is he's showing his hand. He don't even have enough. These dudes, they just not smooth at all. They don't have no kind of game. They just like little hungry, thirsty desperados. They just can't wait. They just want to just tap somebody's pussy so fast, and they don't even have the sense to finesse it and show themselves to be a man of patience and skills when it comes to handling women. They don't have any skill. So they just like, just like a bull in a china shop, just bogarting their way around and, and throwing out this kind of sick, twisted stuff. They don't know anything about how to finesse and smooth and romance, wine and dine. And it don't have to be expensive wine and dine, so don't think that. But I mean, I'm talking about the principle of it, courting a woman so that she want to give. She the one jumping on you. See, that's how it should be. Then you can never be accused of being assaulting somebody because she all over you. Because you did it right. You handled things right. But these dudes don't have that kind of skill set. Yeah, men get robbed. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? That's too bad. Because they be leading with their wee wee instead of with their brain. And so they letting their wee wee take them places that they don't need to go, thinking they gonna get some. And they show up in the middle of nowhere, some strange hotels and all this shit, and the same thing in reverse. Instead of just being the girl, here comes three or four thugs saying, "Unask that watch." Remember that song "Annie Up" by the Mob? Shit, that's my jam. But out in that video, they showed a dude looking at the girl. He got his arm all at the window with his bling on and stuff. They rolled up there and snatched that watch off his arm, snatched them rings off. And until you give it to us before I pop one in your brain, that's in the song. And so, yeah, you going to give it up because you got insurance, hopefully, and you could go and get you another one of them. One thing you can't do is get you another life. You are not a cat with nine of them, okay? You got one. It's not worth it. Let's move on. Female, 40 to 45 from Washington, D.C. Believe it or not, Deb, this is the first time I've ever written to an advice columnist. I just wanted some kind, thoughtful responses from someone not in my family and not a friend. Well, you wrote to the wrong place. We don't give those here. Basically, an 18-year-old man randomly struck up a conversation with me recently, and it was such a breath of fresh air. I thought it was particularly bold because we were both masked. But I'm a very young looking 41-year-old, and I'm often guessed to be 25. We did exchange numbers, have been texting constantly, and met for lunch. I know for a fact that he's interested in starting something, yet all the while, the thought of his family condemning me is at the forefront. I personally have no issue with the age difference, especially as it's a platonic connection right now. I guess I'm just looking for any woman out there that has experienced something similar. Older woman, much younger man. Side note, I do not attract men anywhere near my age, although I have tried and tried. I think also due to the pandemic, I'm ready to just see what happens. Any advice? Kindness appreciated. No, I don't have any kindness for you, cradle robber. Leave this little child alone. Okay, just you call him an 18-year-old man. There's no such thing. He's an 18-year-old kid. That's what he is. Teen, teen, teen. Does that mean anything to you? Okay, it's got teen in it. That's a kid. I don't care if it's 18, 17, 19. It's still teen. And that's a kid. And you 41. You ought to know better. Younger for you is somebody 28, 30. That's enough. Okay, you don't be going into high schools, getting somebody to mess around with. Lady, you are trifling. This is ridiculous. You know them little young cats, they be trying to get with somebody older because they want the experience and they think that older women have money. Plus, older women know how they own place, they know how to cook, they got credit, all kind of stuff. So you don't have no kids, so he feel like he can just move right on in there and be putting it down and having you climbing the walls, and that you gonna just give him his credit card, give him the keys to your car, give him the keys to your house, and let him come and go as he pleases. He gonna be having all his little dusty ass 18-year-old friends at your house playing video games and eating up all your food. There won't be shit you can say about it because you would have invited him in there. It's not a mama. They know, Kayla, you got the wrong. No, they're not looking for a mama. That's not the right connotation. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for a horny woman in because I mean, actually intimately, a 40, 41-year-old woman and an 18, 19, early 20s guy is a good match. He can keep up with her. Cuz that in the 40s, honey, it's just awful. So if you got a man who can't keep up with you, it's going to be a very sad situation for him. So that kind of way, I could see it, but he's too young. Okay, he's too young. He's a kid. You 41. You really seriously, the youngest you should go might be about 25. Like I said, 25, 30. That's enough. You can't be going into teens. That's not going to work. And he's I know it's cute and you enjoying it and all this old stuff because your ego is all being built up, but that's somebody's child. Leave that boy alone. Yeah, the critic. She got that 820, 920, whatever the 850 credit rating. And so she can buy him a car and he gonna some clothes and she can do all this stuff that a young girl, can't do. Let's move on. Question number 8. This is a male in the 25 to 29 age group. Says no location provided. My girlfriend and I live in a high risk country where the number of COVID infections is still increasing rapidly and it's not possible to get a vaccine yet. Hmm. This might be have been sitting around for a week or two. Since we spend time at each other's place quite a lot, we made an agreement that we reduce contact to a minimum where we only see relatives and one or two very close friends so that we don't risk getting infected and risking each other's health while doing so. Since then, she has met only with two close friends of hers plus her flatmate who belongs to the same household. I chose not to meet with any other friends yet because I didn't want to risk it, although I'm fine with her meeting two others, though we are aware of the risk. Yesterday, she tells me that her flatmate invited this friend home that I've never met for brunch, and she joined them to eat together in the same room. So she had spent an hour there without a mask, eating and talking. Hearing this, I got super concerned about her getting sick because we have no idea where this friend has been in the last few days and with whom she had contact. I also get upset with her for breaking our agreement and having to cancel our plans early this week because now I have to wait for 5 days to see if she has any symptoms or not, and obviously not risk myself getting infected. I think her behavior was inconsiderate. Hmm. As a result of this, I sent her a text saying I'm concerned about her getting infected, and I'm also sad that we now have to wait another 5 days to see each other again. I also told her I don't understand how she could be so reckless and take such a risk. After telling her this, she got angry at me for calling her reckless and snapped at me by saying, I came to your place all the time taking risks, and you call me reckless? You know what? I will not come anymore. I called her to explain the situation, but she won't respond. Then I text her trying to explain myself and how much I am concerned, worried and such, and she just ignores my text and go to sleep without responding, giving me the silent treatment. Am I in the wrong here? Nope. No, you're not. And she's being very stupid and defensive because she knows she did something that was highly risky. You're taking care of yourself, and you're like you point out, you're in a country where the COVID rate is still rising. It hasn't capped off yet. It's not dropping. It's still going up. That is a problem. And so her behavior with this person that just walks into the house, she don't know nothing about this person, and and she's gonna sit there in close proximity enough to with them to eat and talk and stuff and have a share meal with this person. She doesn't give a shit about her own health, let alone yours. That's what she's telling you. I wouldn't have done it personally. I couldn't do that. So I'm telling you that what you need to do is block her. So while she want to play these little silly little games of no contact, don't call her bitch ass anymore. Don't text her anymore. Let her stew in her own juices. She want to be mad, let her be mad. You be mad so mad that your ass will rot and the flies will come and lay eggs on you. That's how mad you can be. I don't give a fuck. And so you are gonna just do that. If you do that, and then by the time she comes bamming on your door talking about why did you block me, I said because you said you wasn't gonna come anymore, and you want to be reckless with your health. I'm not gonna let you fuck up mine. So take your disease carrying ass on back to your house and continue on with your strike of silence. That works for me. I'm gonna find me a woman that's got some better sense and who's more concerned about her man's health as well as her own. That ain't you. You want to socialize. That's your top priority. So take your happy ass on over there somewhere and do that. Socialize until you drop. And then that would be that. I don't, I mean, I'm not, I don't know. It's the kind of thing I always knew if I got it, I wasn't going to die. I don't know how I knew that, but I just knew that that wasn't the case. And sure enough, I didn't. That's why I'm still here. But, I was very sick. I was very sick. Couldn't taste nothing, couldn't smell nothing for a month, too. Yeah, I'm just now getting my sense of smell back. Taste, too. Everything tasted the same. The only thing I taste was sweet and salty. It's kind of weird. So you still eating, but you can't really taste the food. It's kind of awful. But that was as bad as I get. But then I heard that I have the blood type for people that have the highest survival rate, O positive, and a lot of people with other types, be whoop. But yeah, I was sick and I got well. So, but I don't know what your blood type is or what your immune system is like. So you could be very well, concerned for a very good reason. But anyway, the bottom line is no, you're not wrong. Get rid of her. Question 9, female, 30 to 35 to SAC. That's Sacramento, California. Sorry. Deb, I need some much needed advice on what I should do. My husband became a truck driver a little over 3.5 years ago. He did not have his CDL when we first started dating. I knew he wanted to drive for a living, but it was always explained to me that he would drive over the road for a couple of years for experience and then he would pursue something local that would get him home every day. Unfortunately, I feel like I have been manipulated to pursue a relationship with him based on false information. His intentions have been to continue to drive over the road, even though it has been something I expressed displeasure from the very beginning. I've never complained, but only expressed how I feel when asked. He seemed to think that the only way he can make good living is if he is gone for weeks at a time. Had I known that this were his intentions from the beginning, I would have delayed getting married and us having a child. I've never been interested in having a long distance relationship. Even in my teens, there were guys that wanted to date me, but the minute I found that they lived hundreds of thousands of miles away, I lost interest. I understand that there are wives and even husbands who do okay with being away from their spouse for extended periods of time. I'm just not that person. I've been given the advice to have my own life, which I do. I'm a full time mom, employee, and nursing student. I'm not up under my husband, nor do I want to be. I feel that because I'm not happy with my husband's plans to continue being on the road, and I've expressed that never interested in being with someone in a long distance relationship, now I'm a bad person. He's made me feel selfish for not supporting his dream, but I function like a single mom without complaints. I've only discussed with him some of the challenges that I'm facing with trying to juggle everything. The only reason I even told him how I felt was because he asked. I'm starting to resent him because I feel like I lied to, and I'm really having second thoughts about whether this relationship can last when we have such differing views about such an important decision. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Oh, yeah, so he did the old bait and switch. What you have to do is sit home, scale it down, and say, look, I did not get married to and have a child to be a single parent. I did not get married to live in a house by myself for weeks at a time and see you in passing. This is not the kind of marriage that I signed on for. This is not the husband I signed on for. This is not the life that you told me that I was going to have with you. You lied to me, and it's making me hate you. I'm not happy in this relationship. I want out. Either you get a job locally so you can be here every day, or we're getting a divorce. And I'm getting someone else that will be here every day. You choose which one you want to do. And then he'll tell you, and then you make your plans accordingly. We let him fuck up your life like that. Mm-mm. It's you and you're right. A lot of women do well with that. I'm one of them. I'm like, I don't care. Get out of my face. Go somewhere. Do something with yourself. I have a lot of shit I want to do, and I don't want you here. So I mean, it's not that I don't love him and all that. I'm not never been that kind of want to see a man every damn day. So that would work for me. But for you, you're not that person and you never agreed to that. So how he did you was very unfair. So what you need to do is just like I said, be very blunt. Women be like trying to be polite. Oh, to be nice. I don't want to hurt him. I don't, and you do all this stuff rather than just be blunt and tell the man how he's fucking up and how it's making the situation for you intolerable. And so you tell him, this is my bottom line. Either you're going to change thing and you're going to code the agreement under which I entered this relationship, or I'm getting out of it. And those are the only two choices that you have. And that's what I would tell him. And then while you out there on the road, you can make some extra money because you're gonna be about to pay some serious child support home skillet toe. Question number 10, because you got a baby, so he got 18 years to pay. Question 10, this is from a female in the 18 to 21 age group from Bolton, Greater Manchester, England. Oh, she put all the names. My neighbor, OUR, I love how they spell that. Let's call him Paul, lives two doors along, and I recently discovered that he likes me. But I don't look at him that way. I told him that, and I said want to still be friends with him, but he looked devastated and just walked away. 2 weeks later, I saw him again and mentioned that I would like us to still be friends, and he said friendship isn't enough. I never expected that response. Is he right to cut me off? Absolutely. What the fuck? You sitting up there thinking he gonna be looking at you and hanging out with you and being friends when he already told you that he likes you on a romantic level and you just want to torture him to be his quote buddy? Have you lost your mind? You should have kept your mouth shut. What you did to him was insulting and rude. That's why you lucky he didn't cuss you out and call you every kind of bitch and hoe that there is. It's like it's giving me some fucking doggy biscuit, like a Scooby snack of friendship. I don't want that shit. See, that's how a man like me would have talked to you because I would have had to tell you about yourself. You're coming to me with that bullshit. I'm not trying to hear that shit. Blah blah blah. I would have just read you like a book. And so, but he just said that that wasn't enough. So he was extremely polite to you, very civil, far better man than I would ever be if I were a guy. So, and for you to think that he was gonna, what he's supposed to be all happy and jumping at the bit because you want to throw him that Scooby snack, girl, you is delirious. Ain't no man in this world trying to be your friend after he done already told you he want to fuck. He want to be your man, and you gonna, oh, we can be friends, so he can walk around. You can be telling him about other men and your dates and all this old shit. Who you think want to be doing all of that to themselves and torturing themselves like that? You tripping. Yes, he's right to cut you off. Don't talk to him anymore. Leave him alone. You just being mean to him for no reason. Let's move on. Question number 11. Female 21 to 25 from Provo, Utah. Wow. I think I did have a letter too from Salt Lake at one point. I've recently been talking to a new guy and I really like him. The only problem is I'm not that good at talking to new people. We've been talking for the past few days and I've been doing good so far, but I'm starting to lose steam. What are some good things to talk about? We've already talked about movies, family, what kind of relationship we're looking for, career, school, and travel. At this point, I usually say it's time to meet in person, but we're pretty far away from each other and also COVID. Well, I'm going to say this. If you are talking to someone and you don't have nothing to talk about, then cut that situation short. Stop talking to them because then it's not, you're forcing an issue. That means you really have nothing in common with this person. People who have something in common with, they never run out of stuff to talk about. They don't have to come and write an advice column to look for subjects to talk about with someone. The shit just flows. They constantly yapping at each other like magpies about everything and about nothing. Jokes, all kind of stuff. I mean, they're constantly talking. So for you, I'm going to say that this is not the man for you. He's too far away, number one. And then you don't have nothing to talk about other than just, trite little silly stuff. You know, this is kind of sad, actually. That means that, if you don't have anything more to say, young lady, you need to stop dating. And you need to work on developing yourself as a person so that you're a more interesting person with a much broader base of experiences and knowledge so that you have something always to talk about no matter where you are. Old people, young people, little kids, teenagers, and professional people, regular people, bums on the street, whatever. You always have something to converse with them about because you can dig into your repertoire and pull things out that would be of interest to whoever you're exchanging words with. That's how you become an interesting person. Right now that's not you. Okay? So you need to work on yourself. You shouldn't have to struggle for conversation with somebody. That's really sad. Yeah, it's very true. My mother used to tell us there's no such thing as, being bored. If you're bored, that means you're a boring person. And she told us that when we were little, and I tell Mommy, I'm bored. We said one time, Mommy, we're bored. And then my mother decided, we used to live in a Victorian, the floor to ceiling windows. I think the windows will start about this high from the ground and then go up to that about that high from the ceiling. And they all had them like 15-foot ceilings or something. I mean, really tall, big ass windows with them little squares, panes in them. My mother would say, here. And she would have us cleaning windows. She would have us dusting that whole house. She would have us waxing floors. And so we learned real quick not to say that we was bored because she would put your ass to work since you don't have nothing to do. Let me give you something. So we learned real quick. And then she hit us on top of that. There's nothing else, nothing that's boring. There's only boring people. I was like, wow. And that was the moment that I decided I would never say I was bored ever again. I would never feel bored ever again. If anything, I need to clone myself because I have so much going on that I'm thinking about and trying to do. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you got to be exactly like me, but there needs to be more going on here with you so that you have always something to share with somebody else. Okay. This is not, you know. Is it Michelle? Michelle, girl, my mother. That lady, it's like, you just be sitting there looking at her, all 5 feet, two of her, just hell on two legs. So let's move on to question number 12. This is from a male in a 30 to 35 age group from Thousand Oaks, California. I just wanted to see what the ladies' opinions are on this brief situation. I started dating someone recently that I met through an online dating app where we really hit it off from the start. And it turned out we actually lived literally around the corner from each other. Know the same circle of people but never met until we matched. Anyway, been on 5 dates over a month or so, and everything was going really well. But after the last dinner date, the next day she messaged me to go for a walk with her, and we spent another few hours together. And we both had plans that night, so we left it at that. This was a Saturday. I was thinking everything was going really well. She had told me on a Saturday she liked me, and I took the fact that she wanted to see me again straight after the dinner date as a good thing. So we ended up texting that Sunday night and into Monday, and out of nowhere, she sends me a text saying she thinks I'm great and all this jazz, but respects me too much to lead me on and sees us as friends, which directly contradicts the vibe she was giving off and what she said to me on Saturday. I was a bit worried that she may not have been looking for something serious and is a bit young and still wants to focus on studies and friends for now, but all the signs were there. I replied back politely so as not to burn the bridge. We ended up running into each other again after about a month when she greeted me with a big hug and everything. I guess one that I wanted to seek advice on is very much seemed like she liked me and we connected well. It was probably just wrong timing. I feel like it would be worth another shot, but I also don't want to open myself up to disappointment either. Well, I'm going to say this when women respond like that, it's one of two things. Number one, she met somebody else and she just don't want to tell you because it's none of your business. But if she was texting you that much, I don't think it was that. I'm thinking that all this chitter chatter and all from Sunday night into Monday, you probably sent said something inappropriate. You said something that you shouldn't have said and it turned her off. That's what happened. It's one of those two things. It can only be one of those two things. It's always one of those two things. 99.9% of the time, it's the latter. Men say stupid shit that they don't have no business saying. They make innuendo that they really shouldn't do. They make crass, sexually oriented jokes that they really shouldn't do. They allude to some belief that she doesn't have, and she knows right away that that's a conflict, that the two of you will never make it because where you stand on this issue is a complete opposition to where she stands, and she don't feel like arguing with you or trying to change her. It's always one of them two things. Okay, so you figure out which one it is, and there's the answer, and you're not going to try it again because either one of those situations it's a no. Okay, you're done here, sir. Let's move on, which we'll do as well. Question number 13, female 18 to 21, Toronto, Canada. Auntie Deb, I really need some help with this. I mean, really, she says in capital letters. I'm almost 18, and I'm thinking that my stepfather, he's 46, might have a thing for me. I didn't want to talk to anyone I know in real life about this for hopefully obvious reasons, So I thought of you. So this is the deal. My mom got remarried about 5 years ago to my new stepdad. His name is Steve. Steve. I never had an issue with this as he was a really cool and nice dude. He never tried to replace my dad. He's not dead. He's just not in my life much. But he was always very supportive. The other day I was looking for some headphones because mine are broken. And knowing my mom always puts the ones you get with new phones in her nightstand, I went looking in there. I didn't find it in her, so I thought, fuck it, and I checked Steve's nightstand too. I didn't find any headphones, but what I did find a pair of what were definitely my underpants. She can't delete them. It's her stepfather. My underpants and pictures of me. Now, if it was just pictures of me, I wouldn't think too much of it. He's always treated me like his daughter, so that wouldn't be too weird. But this couple with the panties, as if that wouldn't have been enough on its own, really freaked me out. So I put everything back just how I found it, and I left their room. Since then, I've just been hyper aware of how he behaves around me, and I feel panicked whenever he touches me or hugs me. And I think back to any time he's done it in the past and just wonder if he was trying to fill me up or something. I don't know whether I should talk to my mom about this. He's never made any kind of advances towards me in anywhere, anything like that. So I could just be overthinking something that could have a reasonable explanation. I'm just going into the worst case scenario, thinking and imagining him secretly having a thing for me and jerking off to my underwear or something gross like that. Girl, you're 17. You know what time it is. You ain't that innocent. You know what it is. That is not normal for a stepfather, father, brother, uncle, grandfather, nothing to have a young girl's underpants in his nightstand with pictures of her. That is a setup for disaster. I don't know where they do that at except in some pervertville. And that's what's going on here. Now, let's move into how we're going to do it. He knows better, but this is not about him not him knowing better. This is about him perving on his stepdaughter. So what you need to do is say, Mom, I want to run a situation by you. We're gonna make it hypothetical, so you're gonna get a feel for how she does, how she feels about it. Because it's gonna be the classic. Well, I have this friend situation. Because you don't know how your mother's gonna be. Is your mother gonna be one of them kind of mother that wants to kill him? Or she gonna be one of those kind of mothers that think that you put it there, that it's you don't like him, that you're trying to make her choose, that you led him on. Some of these mothers will blame the child. I'm not saying that's your mother. I'm just saying this is a reality that we need to consider. Okay, so what we're gonna do is say, Mom, I want to talk to you about something. And you're gonna say, Oh, she's gonna be like, What? Say, Oh, it's really important. I had this friend at school, and she was looking for headphones in her parents' room, and she found a pair of her underwear and some pictures of her in her stepfather's drawer. And now she's all freaked out and she doesn't know what to do. I didn't know what to tell her. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think, is the next step for her? What should she do about it? See what your mama says. That's going to tell you a whole bunch about it, how your mother thinks. Okay. And I hate that you have to do this, but I'm telling you, this is how a lot, we don't know which side of the fence your mother's going to fall on. And I'm saying this to you just as much to protect you and your feelings as I am, to get her aware of what's going on. Now, if she's a smart lady, she's going to look at you and she's going to know that there ain't no friend. The friend is you. And she's going to go upstairs and she's going to open up her husband's nightstand and she's going to see what you're talking about. And then she's going to be like, oh, what the hell is this? And then it's going to be, a decision for her. What's she going to do about it? Because, a lot of women, just because they see it, that doesn't mean that they're going to take any action, right? Now, what would I do if that were me? I would put everything out of there that was my daughter's like that. And I'd leave a note in here like, you fucking pervert. I want you to pack your shit and I want you to get the fuck out of my house. And don't you ever talk to me or my child ever again. That would be me. But I would wait for him to go. I wouldn't say a word to him. I would just act just as normal. But I would leave that note there so that knowing that he going to go in there when he knows I think I'm not there, I'm not paying attention, and he going to open it up to have his fun. And then he's going to see that note and he going to know he got busted. What can you say? Why would you have the stepdaughter's underpants in your drawer? Why not give them back to her? Put them in the laundry, where you stole them from, obviously. Why are they in your night table? That's not normal, and that's not an accident. So that's why, as the mother, even though the girl's 17, she's gonna be going off to college or whatever. She's gonna be away from him. She's gonna be an adult shortly. That's not the point. The point is that you are a pervert pedophile, and you're in the house with my child who is still a minor. That's the point. Okay, he would have to go. And then I'd call my thug cousins, and then I'd call everybody I knew, and I would tell them, and I'd call his parents, and I would take pictures of it, and I'd post it on social media with his name, and I would talk about how raggedy and trifling he is. I would fuck him up. I can't just be quiet about it. I can't go quietly. When I go, I like to make a ruckus, a big ruckus. And so I would have to fuck him over just for that, you know. Well, we're not going to send mom to the night table. I'm saying is we're going to run it that way so that we can see how she lands. Because if she starts saying, "Oh, well, then that girl probably did something to entice him. She probably gave him to her herself," then the girl, there's no point in saying anything. She's on her own. Or if the mother, starts connecting dots and goes upstairs and pulls that night table off open, then she gonna know. It's gotta be a lot about how the mother responds to our hypothetical situation. And that's why I wanted to do it that way. Let's move on to question number 14. Male, 30 to 35 from Clarksville, Tennessee. My girlfriend thinks I'm waiting too long to set a marriage date. We are both 30 years old and have been together for a year, and we're both ready to get married. Well, mentally at least. She has a better paying job than I do and is in a position to hold up her side of the expenses for the wedding, and I'm not. On the other hand, I'm not sure how much I can handle at the moment. I've asked her to give me some time to sort some stuff first before we set a date, but she says if I'm ready for the next step, a big wedding should not matter, and I'm prioritizing it over getting married to her. How do we find common ground? So she just want to get married. She's just not looking for a big wedding, and you're holding up. You're saying that your excuse is because of the expenses for the wedding. I would suggest this: sit down with her and say, okay, this is how much. In case you guys haven't done this, sit down and show her this is how much money I make, and this is the expenses that I have to cover every month. Not to mention contingencies for auto repair, emergencies, and things, medical emergencies, and things of that nature. Okay, so as you see, I'm not really financially stable, and I don't feel good about marrying anybody and putting them in a situation where they're married to a man who's not stable the way he wants to be. It's going to put too much burden on you and it'll stress me the fuck out. Okay, so then she's going to come back with, well, two incomes are better than one. We'll share expenses. It's not going to be that bad. We can grow together. We this and that. So then you're going to have an excuse because she want to get married, right? And her reasons, if she pulls those out, are going to be valid, right? At 30, you guys, dude, the most you probably could negotiate for is maybe 6 months. You thinking you're gonna be getting years and years out this girl, it's not gonna happen. So if she's really the woman that you want, and you know that for a fact, you're gonna have to say, okay, give me 6 months to make some moves to get a promotion at my job, or do whatever you want to do that's gonna up your income. And then you got 6 months, and then tell her at that end of the time, if we don't have money for a big wedding, we'll have a small wedding in the backyard or something this fall, and invite our friends or something to be something small and intimate but nice, and not no big old fancy church wedding and this kind of stuff here. If you okay with that, then we can roll with that and let's make that plan. Okay? But you gotta, push it out 6 months so that you got a 6 month window. You better start getting it together before she jets out and leaves you. Question number 15. This is a female in the 18 to 21 age group from Cincinnati, Ohio. Auntie, ooh, and she put it in like bold caps and underlines and exclamation marks galore. Help me, she says. My 25-year-old sister severely lacks personal hygiene. Ooh, not another hygiene letter. It got so extreme that her underpants has poop stains. Okay, I'm done. Oh, little nasty ass girl. Okay. Okay. Has poop stains all over it and she leaves it to dry as if that's normal. She doesn't even take into consideration other people's environment as we live together, and she almost always forgets to flush the toilet. I want to throw up right now. She does not use toilet paper. She does not wash her hands after using the toilet. Wait a minute. She don't use toilet paper. What does she use? Okay. Her fingers smell so bad all the time. I guess that's my answer. She does not care about her private parts at all. She smells really bad from down there. And whenever she sits down, the place is left with her unpleasant smell. I don't know how or why it got to this point. I tried talking to my mom about it, and she tried talking to her, but nothing has changed. I'm tired of it. I can't even trust her sitting on my chair or sleeping in my bed, as I know it's going to smell horrible afterwards. I really want to talk to her about it, but I don't know how I could open up such a sensitive subject with her. She's a very stubborn person as well. It's really hard to talk to her about anything. I'm worrying that she might be so hurt from this subject. Please help me. Who gives a fuck about her hurt feelings when your nose is being assaulted like, violently? Everything in your house has shit poop marks on it. Residue, shit residue from her nasty hands. I would move. I couldn't. Okay, you know what's coming out to me, because a lot of this stuff comes to me like spiritually. Your sister has been sexually assaulted. That's what I'm getting here, and that this is her way of preventing it from happening again. She's gonna make herself so undesirable that it's like it would be she feels like it's going to protect her. That's what's jumping out at me. I don't know where that's coming from. I'm just, as soon as I started reading it, that's the energy that I got from her. This is why she's doing this. This is her way of addressing the fact that she doesn't want to feel like these guys are going to be, wanting to do this to her again. They'll be so repulsed and repelled by the funk that they'll leave her alone. That's what's going on with your sister. So, how you could approach this subject, you're going to have to say, Sister, please tell me the story about what happened to you and why you're responding this way with this kind of defense mechanism. Just be blunt with her. And she's going to be shocked that you figured it out. It would tell her, say, this is not safe. It's not sanitary. It's hurting you and it's hurting everyone else that comes to this house and that's running. Obviously, she don't have a job, or she does, she works at home or something, because this is not normal. Can you imagine the keys on her computer keyboard? How much shit residue is on them? And she touching the refrigerator handle and stuff like that. Oh no, I could not live in an environment like this. I am so sorry. But that's what I would suggest. You guys want to just talk to her and all this kind of stuff. This goes way deeper than that. There's something seriously wrong here, and I mean, this is what I'm getting from it. So you could try that and see how she responds. She'll probably deny it because she obviously hasn't talked to you about it. She just started responding in this way. This is not normal. It's not normal. But that is something, like, some women gain a lot of weight, right? They get really obese be in response to it. They were cute and, small or young, whatever, regular size when the assault happened, and then they start overeating, and they feel like it's a protective suit to protect them from that kind of thing happening to them again. It's a mental way that the body, the mind operates to develop the body to repulse any kind of further attack. Weight, hygiene. It's one of it's usually one of those two. So I would take that approach and talk to her about getting some help, some mental help, because she needs it. She hasn't dealt with the trauma. I'm just saying, that's what's coming to me, and I'm rarely wrong. I mean, there have been a few times I was kind of close, but not exactly. But that's what's jumping out at me, and that's this is the reason why she's doing this. So, you approach her and ask. Y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button. And if you're not a subscriber, become a subscriber to the channel. Got a lot going on here. I'm about to put up my intermission sign so I could go and grab my water before I start coughing because my throat is extremely dry. You guys hang on. I'll be back in a minute. I'm back. I'm back. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that brief little break here. And thank you, only one. That's what I'm talking about. See, I got my one of my mustache cups. My daughter bought these crazy looking cups. That's good. I'm glad you guys like my musical choices. I think in my other life I was a frustrated DJ or something. Okay, let's move on where we left off. We left off with the stinky sister. Now let's move on to question number 16. We got 25 questions today, right? Is it 25 or 24? Yeah, 25. Young man, 45 to 50. Well, I guess he's not that young. From Allentown, Pennsylvania. Recently, I'm 46, started seeing a woman who's 35. Is still in a fairly casual stage, but has gotten intimate a few times. Neither one of us really wants anything serious, i.e., falling in love, but we both agreed to be exclusive for now. Recently, she shared that she's been struggling. She says she finds me very attractive, loves that I communicate well, and that she really looks forward to our time together, conversations and messaging throughout the day. But the sexual chemistry hasn't come along the way she hoped it would. It's worth noting that to date, our encounters include a lunch quickie and another get together at her apartment. I admit that mine wasn't the performance I'd hoped to put on, but I was more pleased with it and excited about things going forward than apparently she was. She said she enjoyed a lot of it, and that it's not a physical or performance thing at the root of her concern. She couldn't really articulate exactly where the issue was, other than just a feeling. I believe she's just as perplexed by it as I am, and I think it frustrates her the way it does me. We've talked, and I share with her that for me, chemistry is something that takes time to build. It's rarely, with me at least, something that takes time. I mean, something that happens at a high level out of the gate. I told her that, in my opinion, it takes more than one or two quick encounters to say definitively that there's no chemistry. And even then, that chemistry is something that can be improved if both parties want to make the effort. Still, I gave her more than one free exit in this conversation, that I didn't want to waste her time if she just didn't see potential for it to get better. I even asked her not to decide right away, to take the weekend to think about it. Instead, she felt that it was worth the effort to continue seeing one another and seeing if our chemistry gets better. She did say, though, that it was her hope that as we could continue being friends if the chemistry between us never develops. I told her I didn't really see that as a possibility on my end, that I've tried it approach several times and ways before, and that it doesn't work for me once a relationship crosses that threshold, the physical threshold. So my two questions to you. Number one, am I wasting her time and is she wasting mine? And number two, am I naive for thinking that it takes more than two encounters, one being a quickie, to establish chemistry? My fear is that she'll continue to see me even if the chemistry isn't what she wants because she enjoys every other aspect of me. She said that she's had a difficult time getting guys that she finds attractive to actually talk and engage with her, communicate, because they're just wanting eggplant. I'm afraid that she'll compromise because I'm different in that way, but she'll be equally disappointed. Oh my God, shut the fuck up. Let me tell you something about yourself, you stupid fool. Number one, you went into the relationship with all these barriers on it. Don't you understand? At 46, you should understand this now, that a woman's best experiences is if she has some kind of emotional tie to the man that she's fucking. Okay? She's got to really like you, and she's got to know that you really like her. That's missing in this situation here. She's in her mid 30s. You know, at that age, a lot of people are not really tripping about the youngster day booty call FWB things. That's not, I mean, usually, they want something a little bit more stable and more serious minded. But you went into it talking about, well, we're not going to fall in love and we're not going to do this and we're not going to do that. Okay, so that means she can't really explore the full range of her intimacy, emotional intimacy with you because you have yourself in a box, sir. That's not gonna work. So she's having to rein in things that she would want to express because she can't get like go in too deep because she can't. There's no future here. You don't understand that? At 46, you still don't get that. Are you out of your mind? So I'm gonna tell you this: since you don't want anything serious, and she lied and agreed with you, this is not gonna work. Just cut it off now. Just stop it. Yeah, he's not insecure. She told him that it wasn't working out. I mean, he's not being insecure. He's being realistic. Y'all stop with that. All that crazy judgment stuff. The man was very honest, and she said she told him that it wasn't developing the way that she wanted to, and he made a good point. Well, we only did it two times, and one of them was a quickie. I mean, it doesn't always happen like that. But I'm telling you, it's never going to happen like that in a situation where you go into it and you have already put parameters around what it can be. That woman is always going to hold back. She's going to hold back because she doesn't want it to get too good because then she'll be too attached to you. And she sees if you don't want anything serious, it would be foolish for her to get attached with you. So she's not going to let go of everything that she could let go and really enjoy herself physically with you. So this is a waste of time for both of you, and just let it go. I mean, you gave her free exit, and she decided she, wanted to ask if see some potential and all this old stuff. I don't know why she said all that, but maybe because she's only in her 30s. She hasn't really realized yet that it's either there or it's not. And the man has to be just as willing to be there as she does. If you both there, then it can be some beautiful, wild, deep, soul stirring stuff going on. But otherwise, it's just screwing and it just leaves people really unsatisfied emotionally. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Lauren. that I would think at 46, that's you on the downstroke to 50 homeschooling and you still don't get it. You still don't understand how women operate. Don't you understand? That's why even young player dudes understand that. And that's why they be lying, telling girls, "Oh, I have love for you, girl. I can see this going someplace. I've been waiting for you." I mean, they lie, but they say the shit that some women fall for. But I mean, they want it for real. They want it for real, not player game just to get the panties. But I mean, if a woman really feels a man like that and she really wants to be with him, then it's on and popping. And there's, the chemistry is there because her heart is there, not just her nether regions, but her heart too. And that's when it's the best. But this is just the kind of thing. This ain't gonna happen, home skillet. So just let it go. You trying to make it be like it's her situation, her decision. But you was up in there too and talking about, well, it wasn't the performance that I'd hoped to put on. Well, then that means the shit was a waste of time, and you was faking the funk. You was holding back too. I hate those kind of situations. I've had those. That's how come I know. You all agree. You all thinking it's gonna be all cute and that you can do something, and then you realize after you did it. I mean, like the guy might have been technically proficient. Things happened as they should happen. You know what I'm trying to say? Be delicate. But the feeling that you would have afterwards with a man that you really were into, you don't have. So you're laying there right after everything's all over, and you sitting there and you looking at him thinking, ugh, and you looking at the ceiling like, ooh, how am I going to dip out of this situation? How do I kick him out of my house? I don't want him spending the night. I want him to leave. This is some raggedy bullshit. And some women report feeling really empty and alone after. Some cry. I mean, there's a reason why booty calls are not a good situation for you to put into unless you just a straight savage and you can definitely separate your emotions. And most women by the time they get in their 40s can do that. But she's only in her mid 30s, so she's got 10 years to go before she gets there. If she ever does. Not every woman does, but if the likelihood is higher for a woman who's in her mid 40s than one who's only in her 30s. So, dude, not gonna happen. Let's move on. Question number 17. Fifth female, 22 to 30, Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm 23 and I'm in a long term, loving relationship, and we recently moved into our mutual home. Hmm. I guess that means they share a home. I love my boyfriend, and our eggplant is really good. The thing is, we never had anything outside of our relationship, not even a kiss, barely even a flirt. Lately, I've been thinking whether I am missing out. I think I really want to have some sexual experiences with other people before I die just to know how it feels. And probably in my early 20s are the best age to try it as I'm still child free and it's less complicated overall. I don't want to cheat, obviously. I would never do this. I want to talk him through this and get his consent. He's very open minded in general. I know that there are acts like threesomes and orgies and whatnot that also include activities with other people and are couples activity at the same time. That's exactly the problem I have with this. I don't feel like it would be my experience, it would be ours. So I am not fond of those. So my question is, do you think I should pursue this? If so, how should I do this? What should I start with? I don't want to rush things, I want to start slow. If it may take years to get somewhere, so be it. Could you help me in these regards? But you don't want to cheat and you just moved into a house with the man. Why did you not do this before you moved into the house with him? Because see, now you're kind of stuck. You made like a commitment here. No, she doesn't want to have those, Ravania. That's what she's saying. She doesn't want that. She wants just something where she's doing some, whatever it is, she's doing it by herself. Well, I don't know if they bought it. It doesn't say. She said they moved into our mutual home. That doesn't mean that they bought it. She didn't say we bought our home, just moved in. They could be renting. Okay? It does we don't gonna jump to conclusions. Go by what it says. That's what I always do. It says we moved into. That's it. That's all it says. But see, my thing is, this is what I tell dudes, right? They always talking about they want a virgin. I'm like, you're stupid. You gonna get with somebody that you think, well, because ain't nobody ever had it before. Don't you know that's the problem? That ain't nobody ever had it before? You don't get it? That's a woman who's gonna want to have it. Either women have that experience before they get married or they gonna have it after. Which one do you want? My suggestion is that she have it beforehand and you stop being so judgmental. So because by the time a woman's had a few dicks, then she gonna know that this is one that she wants to be with forever versus somebody who just settles it because that's what she thinks she should be doing. And then for the next 5 or 10 years, she's craving this variety that she never had the opportunity to have before she got with you. And then she goes and she meets Daquan and Lorenzo and them, and they send her to Mars and back, and then she come home and look at you and say, that pee-wee dick that you have with that 30-second stroke game, I thought that was something. I thought that's how it was supposed to be. And then she leaves you because you can't fuck. That's why they be scared. That's why they want to have a virgin, because they have a little dick and they can't fuck, and they don't want her to have anything to compare it to. But see, women are wising up, and they know that game now. And so they're like, I think before I get better, married, I better try some other dicks and make sure that this is what I want to be with. And then y'all get upset. You be like, oh no, I thought I was going to have someone who's pure and chaste and as the driven snow. And she's like, no, 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 no driven snow here, hoe here. That's what I wanted to be, a hoe. I want to try many, 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 many dicks. I wanted to be in the garden where I'm skipping along, and like, oh, I have that one and two of those and two of those too. See, you got to let a woman have her experiences so that by the time you come along, she will be like, oh, okay, well, this guy, I love him, and the dick is good. This is great. Let's get married. And then she'll be happy with you, and she won't go anywhere. But those of you who are so insecure about your size and your abilities between the sheets, that's why you want someone who has no experience. And I'm telling you, you're going to get left. She gonna leave you. And when she finds somebody who really knows how to put it down, and she realizes that she been suffering with bad sex from you and a little dick her whole life, she's going to want to hit you upside the head with a frying pan as she goes on out the door, taking her kids with her. See, that's what the thing. That's why these dudes. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, these dudes, they crack me up when they have these fantasies. I'm like, you all really don't know anything about women, obviously. You don't know anything. Even in those countries where why they keep women in burqas and under guard and all that kind of stuff, because they know women like sex. Women are better at sex and they can enjoy it way more than men. Can the men have multiple O's? For, hour after hour? No, but women can. And with a man who knows how to make that happen, she will be with him forever. You last 33 seconds on a good day. So she ain't even having one with you. And she's going to want to with somebody who can put it down. I'm telling you, skipping down the street, she's going to be sending for Tyrone in an Uber. Say, shit, boy, let me send me a limo to get you. Let me do that with some of homeboy's money. Since he ain't putting it down, I'm going to take a video and I'm going to send it to his phone. Say, this is how you really fuck. And it ain't this. Take a lesson, homeboy. So, these dudes, anyway, I'm going all off on the track, but this is the thing. This is the reality. This right here is what goes on in women's mind. So guys who feel like they need to have some little virgin and all that stuff, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Get you a woman that has some experience. It don't have to be a lot, but she should have at least had a couple of lovers so that she can make a comparison. And she will know by that comparison that she wants to be with you. You're chosen, not a default choice there. She just there because, and then later she realizes that there's a big world out there and she's missing out. I'm telling you, I'm just saying. And this is a reality check for these dudes. They don't be trying to hear it though. Honey, you calling Jesus, Buddha, Allah, everybody, all of them, you know. But I'm just saying, this is just the reality of what it's like. Ain't nobody trying to be married these days. Women had to be married in them days. They had to be married and they would suffer. And as they used to say, just lay there and think of England or make their shopping list in their head, wait for him to hurry up and finish. Ain't nobody trying to live like that now. And then they would have to go to the doctor, right? They had these things in Victorian England where they would go to the doctor because they called the women hysterical. But what it really was, the women were so sexually frustrated, then the doctors would use these instruments on them, which were really nothing but vibrators. And then the women that would solve the, quote, hysteria. I read all kind of stuff. And this is just some amazing shit. Those sexually prudish people and these men who, would do it with their pants and socks and shoes still on. I mean, just I couldn't have lived in that era. I would have hurt somebody. All right. So anyway, enough of that fun. That's mine. Let's move on. Question number 18. Male, 40 to 45, out of Canada. A week or so ago, I wrote you about my girlfriend. It's 43, and me, I'm 44, and we have been together for 16 years. To remind you, I'm the guy who told you that time ago my girlfriend started introducing me as her friend in public because she's embarrassed by the fact that we're in our 40s and still boyfriend girlfriend. Oh yeah, I remember that letter now. Well, lately she's been in an irritable mood and has started denying me intimacy. I know she's probably holding a lot of resentment towards me and might be planning to leave me. I love her and I want to be with her for the rest of my life, but I have no interest in marriage or having kids. If she's no longer willing to be in a relationship with someone who won't marry her and I'm not interested in getting married, what should I do now? Any relationship isn't an option for me. Oh, motherfucker, let me explain something to you. It ain't all about you. You've had your way for the last 16 years. It's a new day, baby. It's a new day. And so she about to leave your ass and go out and find somebody else who wants what she wants. Too bad she didn't do it 15 years ago. She could be happily married with her own kids, graduate from high school and shit soon. That's the life that she wanted, and you denied it to her. She's trying to stay in there and love you. I would have left your trifling piece of shit ass. You don't want to get married and you don't want to have kids, but you don't want her to leave either. Notice how you want everything your way. That's why she's not fucking you, and that's why you're right. She get ready to leave you. She's done, sir. She's done. So you say it's not an option for you. Guess what? Yes, it's an option for her though. It's not about you. You've had, like I said, your way for 16 years. Get the fuck over it. You about to be single, and you don't have to worry about getting married or having no kids because you won't have a woman. So if that's not, you know what you do, you only have one choice. Either you're going to be broken up with or you're going to get married. Which one do you want? It's going to be one of them two. If you want to keep her, you better pop out with a ring and get over all this shit, this freedom you've enjoyed for the last 16 years. Don't you think you kind of old at 46 to still be acting stupid like this? Get your fucking ass married. Go down there and get your girl a ring. She going to leave you. And you're gonna be trying to wish you had bought that ring. Then you're gonna be sitting around looking at being online with all these idiots racing around here on these dating sites, and you're like, "Oh Jesus Christ, what in the world did I do?" You need to get over this. You're about to lose your lady. She's done with you if you don't make a change like right now. So you figured it out which one you want to do. He better not write me another letter. This is it. You've used your allotment. The only letter I want to get from you now is, Deb, I got up, I got up and I manned up and I went and got a ring and now I'm married. That's the only letter I want to get from you. If you don't send that, then don't write me no more. This is too stupid. Question number 19, female, 45 to 50, out of Chicago. I've been dating the same person since my divorce 2 years ago. I'm 45 with plenty of good years left, but have zero interest in getting married again. He says the same, but I think he does. Very rocky for a while now, but I love him a lot. However, we broke up a few months ago, yet we still talk. His mother recalled me recently. She left a message that she wants to talk, says she's worried about his health because we are not together. He is in his mid 50s. I feel like this is too much for me, but as I said, I love him a lot. Any advice would be appreciated. What advice? You broke up. You're only 45, he's in his mid 50s, and he, you don't want to get married, which I totally get. And you don't want to be with somebody whose health is declining and he's only in his 50s. You know, a whole bunch of black men start dying in their 50s. They be dying in their late 40s to 50s, and if they make it to 60, it's a fucking miracle. Why? Because they don't take care of themselves. They eat like shit. And so then they have hypertension, they stroke out, they have diabetes, they have heart disease, they have kidney disease, they have liver disease, they have prostate cancer, they have all kinds of stuff going on because they don't exercise and their diet is shit and they drink too much liquor. And so this is a thing. This is a thing, and this is what happens. So his mother's worried about his health because she want to dump that sick, disease-carrying, disease-ridden piece of man off on somebody to take care of him so that she won't have to. But lady, that's your child that you didn't feed well or teach him how to eat and take care of himself. Don't be trying to make that somebody else's problem. That's your problem. So you sort of call her back, you call her mother back, and you listen to her, and you be polite because she's a senior. You don't need to be acting a fool, but you got to tell her very straight. And it's like, ma'am, I love your husband, your son rather, but not enough to want to be with him and marry him. And I'm especially not signing on to take care of anyone who's sick. I'm not trying to be nobody's nurse. I'm only 45 years old and I intend to enjoy my life with a man who is healthy. That's not your son. So I don't know what to tell you. Our time together is over. I'm not trying to get married. I don't want to live with anyone, nor do I want to be taking care of anybody like I'm his nurse. I'm not going to do any of those three things. So our conversation here is done. I wish you well. Yeah, I wish your son well too. It was nice knowing both of you. Goodbye. Then you go block, block, blockity block. And so they can't call you no more. That's what you do. Mm-mm-mm. Stop dating the same person for years and years. You're not trying to get married. What the fuck was that? You be dating the same motherfucker for more than 3 months. And if you're going to be dating somebody for a while, then you be dating two or three people. Okay, not just one. That's like a relationship. You don't do that and you trying to not get married at 45. You hop around. This one, that one, this one, that one. That's how you do it. So they don't get too tied to you, nor do you get too tied to them. Okay, change your strategy because this one is stupid. Question number 20, male, 40 for 45 out of Manchester, England. I'm worried about moving in with my girlfriend and her kids. I can see this is going to take me places. I work full time and my girlfriend only works a few hours a week and has been sporadically ill recently. I'm due to move in a few weeks, but I'm worried about it. Basically, her kids, mid-teen and early teen, do as they want in the house. They do very few chores. Anytime they eat between meals, they leave rubbish, dirty dishes, and cutlery on the counter, food out of the fridge, the lights on, presses open. I don't know what that means. And the kitchen is a mess generally. They spend all day on their devices, including being on them after midnight on school nights with the eldest playing computer games in his room, roaring and shouting. He also rarely flushes the toilet after he uses it, and he never washes his hands. What is it with these nasty people? Most times, a younger child is asked to do a chore by her mother. She walks off and says, "No, I'm not doing it," and goes back to her room on her devices. I am up early every morning for work and need to get a good night's sleep, but it's difficult with kids roaming around after I go to bed and going down to the kitchen anytime they want and leaving it a mess. I only spend a few nights a week there, but I'm constantly cleaning up after the kids and washing dishes. And it's fine now, but if I was doing it full time, it would drive me nuts as they are old enough to do it themselves. There's numerous other things, but I'm not going to list them all here. Over time, I've tried to bring this up calmly with my girlfriend in the hope that it'd make me moving in smoother kind of way. I mentioned I was doing an awful lot of dishes when I looked like none of the kids were doing any. I did 14 full sets of dishes over 9 days. Wow. And then I thought it was a bit unfair. I also mentioned that maybe her children could leave the kitchen in a reasonable state when they use it outside meals, or if they don't do their chores, maybe to turn off the Wi-Fi until they do. Every time I suggest they help out a bit more when I'm here, and especially when I'm not there, as she's sporadically ill, she gets highly offended and starts calling me all the names under the sun for insulting her children. I know in my heart of hearts when I move in, their behavior will drive me mad. In a few weeks, and I will leave. I don't want this to happen as I love my girlfriend, but she makes no effort to change anything or just takes it as me insulting her children and gets highly offended if I suggest that they help out. What can I do about this, or am I being completely unreasonable in my outlook? Thanks so much, Miss Cooper, for any insight you may provide. I don't want to hurt her nor myself. Dude, you gonna break up. That's what you gonna do. There's no place for this to go. Do you not understand that? She is aligned with her brats. She's the one who made them like that. She's an overly indulgent, no boundary having parent who doesn't enforce any rules and does not give her children a proper guidance on being responsible adults. Those kids are going to be living with her until they decide that they not to or want to, or until she dies, and they're going to be living exactly like this in squalor with a nasty boy who doesn't wash his hands after he uses the bathroom and doesn't flush the toilet. So, what I'm going to suggest that you do is tell her that I changed my mind. I'm not going to move in. And as a matter of fact, I want to break up. That's what I want to do because you have realized that this is a situation that is not going to ever change and that you cannot look into the future and see yourself living like this for 5, 10, 20 years, really not even for 5 days. And you need to be very clear on that. The number one thing that really stood out for me is the fact that you telling her something that is a, normal part of parenting, teaching children responsibility for their own household and cleaning up after themselves. This is kindergarten level stuff now. You put your toys away, Johnny. When you put the crayons away, put the paints back, push your chair into the table. I mean, basic shit, right? We learned this stuff in preschool and kindergarten. Her kids didn't learn it. And she resents you for pointing that out and starts calling you names, and you stay in the relationship and you go and wash dishes and clean up after teenagers. Dude, you are doing the absolute most. You need to back away from this situation like it has rabies. Okay? Just be done with her and her wild, misbehaving, heathen children. I don't know how you say, because I would have went in there and seen all that shit going on, seen her tell them to do something, and they didn't do it, and I would have turned around and walked right back out the door. One thing Deb does not do is no badass, disrespectful kids. I don't do it. Can't do it. Parents that did, you know, I yell at their kids myself. Like, you little nasty motherfucker, wash your nasty fucked up hands. You know, if they flush your shit down the toilet, who you think want to go to the bathroom behind you and see that shit floating in the toilet? You goddamn pervert, little freaky nasty fucker. I mean, that's how I would talk to her. And then she would be mad at me. I'm like, shit, bitch, you gonna be sitting up here cussing at me? You think I'm not gonna cuss at you and your kids back? You tripping. That's like I have a master's degree and cuss a motherfucker out ease. So I don't have any problem with going smooth off on you and your rugrats. I don't give a fuck. And you go sit up there call me names, let me show you how it's done, son. So there, this whole situation right here is just really messed up. That's just gross. I don't know how you stood it. And who would want to fuck somebody who's got kids that act like this in an environment like that? Mm-mm. I don't even say how you can get. Well, let me shut up. You know what I mean. Excited. Let's move on to question number 21. Female, 25 to 29 out the UK. I had a first date on Friday and it went well. We had lots to chat about. Well, she's sick. He said she's off and on sick. So that, would contribute to her not necessarily, but you got two able bodied children in the house. They should be able to step up and fill in the blanks when she's sick like that. You know what I meant, Elizabeth? I'm trying to be delicate in some respect. Okay, well, anyway, let's move on. Female, 25 to 29 out the UK. I had a first day on Friday. Well, we had lots to chat about, and I found him attractive. Something that I liked about him was that we kissed, but he didn't try it on. I don't know what that means. Our second date is tomorrow, and we're going for dinner. He said that I can park at his and we can walk to the restaurant together, which is fine, but I'm a bit worried that he might invite me in at the end of the night. I don't have a problem with eggplant on the first or second date per se. I have done it before, but I'm just thinking that straight out of lockdown, he may just be gagging for it and use me for that. So I'd like to wait at least until date 3 if possible. How would I respectfully decline an invitation inside slash accept an invitation inside but manage his expectations about eggplant? But you don't know how to say no. What is all this thinking that you putting into it? You don't know how to say no, I'm not fucking you? That's all you have to say. Say no. I don't want to do that. It's too soon. I don't feel like it yet. And who knows, I may never feel like it. I mean, you cool and everything, but don't think just because you bought me dinner that entitles you to dessert and the dessert is me. So, let's get that real clear. And, I would say that to him before I even went to the dinner. I want him to understand what time it is. I'm coming to spend the evening with you and we're going to have dinner together. We're going to chat and laugh and yuck it up and all that old stuff. But don't be having no expectations. And watch your food and drinks too. You meeting these folks on the internet and whatnot. You don't know what kind of character they have. Your ass to be laid up there roofied. So be careful. Question number 22. Female, 25 to 29, out of the UK. Thank you, Candace, for picking my letter because I am really, 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 and she put that in caps 3 times, need some advice. I have been with my now fiance for 3.5 years. Postponed our wedding in September last. We postponed our wedding due to COVID to September this year. We have had our fair share of problems, communication being the main one, which has then made our eggplant life almost non existent. We recently put all the cards on the table and we both stepped up to match each other's love language. Mine being acts of service, so he's been taking charge of doing so many more chores than the zero he was doing, and I learned to work on my low libido and stress to give him the physical touch he craved. Just when I thought we were at a really good turning point, I found out that he's been lying to me our entire relationship. We first started dating, we had the "What's your thought on drugs and smoking" chat, where I explained that due to family deaths from lung cancers, I hate that stuff, and it kills me when I see anyone that I care about smoke or take drugs that can harm them. I'm pretty straighty 180, and I'm not a fan of any drugs whatsoever. I have friends that are on COKE every weekend, and I still love them, but it's different when it's your partner. He agreed with my thoughts and said that he does neither of the two. Over the years, I caught him having a cigarette or two when I in peer pressured social situations. I would always find lighters in his bag, and he would say that they were for work purposes, as he was in the army and they were out field camping a fair bit. I would kiss him after he came home from a night out at the fire station. I could taste it immediately, but he denied it, said he was standing with people who were smoking. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. All this evidence. Let's make this clear. I have dated smokers before, and I tolerated it because they've been honest about it from the start, and knew that I didn't like it, so they actively tried to cut down or quit for me. He has now admitted that he has been an active smoker our entire relationship, and he hides it from me by doing it at work, at the fire station with the boys, or with friends when I'm not around. I feel so betrayed and like such a fool. I gave him so many chances to come clean, and now it's gotten this far. The worst part is he isn't even willing to try to quit. In addition to this, all our friends and family knew it and knew not to tell me or give him one when I'm there. What shit friends and in laws I have, too. Hey, I've lost trust in everyone. I just look like the fun police, and they are just laughing behind my back. Oh, and to top it off, he knows how I feel about lies. I dated a pathological liar in the past, and he knows that. But yet he still lied to me for 3.5 years. We've already had a major relationship problems, but now I'm on my last straw. I don't think I can ever trust him again or ever forgive him for lying, making me look so stupid and foolish. What do I do about everything, the wedding included? You not gonna marry him? Are you out your mind? Do you think a wedding is just like a party, an event? Like, I don't know, going to vote or something? I mean, a wedding is like a celebration of the love and the trust and the respect and the desire two people have to be together allegedly for the rest of their lives. And that has to be based on honesty and it based on mutual respect for each other's the similarities as well as the differences. Okay? That's missing here. You were lied and manipulated and coerced into a relationship that, had you known was the situation, you would not have entered. And he knows that. And he would, but see, the thing, I got to fault you too because you knew that all this stuff was too suspicious. And yet you kept making excuses like, to put hide your head in the sand and act like you didn't know what was going on when you knew full well what was happening. So both of you tried to fool yourself and as he was fooling you. So both of you were stupid. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. Both of you were stupid because you're supposed to jam him up. You finding lighters in his pocket and he's kissing them and he smelled like cigarettes. And, you don't have the cigarette taste in your mouth from being, around other people. It's in your hair. It might be in your clothes, but it's not in your mouth. So it wouldn't be the kind of thing where, you kiss him and you taste cigarettes. And you knew this. Okay. So why you would even ask me, you feel betrayed, you feel like a fool. Everyone was lying to you to help cover for him, his flying monkeys, the flying monkeys of a narcissist. All of these things would tell you that if you married this particular man, you would be the biggest fool on the planet. Okay, he would know that he could lie to you and bullshit you about anything, and you gonna find a way to flip it around in your mind to make it be okay and tolerable. But still, faced with the fact that everybody knew, that's I think is the only reason why you react in the way that you are. If nobody else knew, you wouldn't be having such a violent reaction to it. But you're embarrassed because all these people knew and they all hid it from you, and you just in this relationship with this man that you shouldn't have been in. So I'm going to tell you this: you are going to break up with him. Okay, you want to be married to a man who tells the truth and who is a non-smoker and who doesn't do drugs. That's the husband that you want. Is that this man? Absolutely not. He lies, he smokes, and he does whatever else he's doing. Okay, that's a trifecta of fail. You don't get with the man who does this kind of stuff. I'm I don't even understand why you had to write this question and ask what you should do. You already know what you want, what you should do. You just don't want to do it. Please, you got. I'm telling you, man, dude, to be married to me, he would have to be so Johnny on the spot. I can't even imagine how close to perfection he would have to be. I just can't with this kind of manipulative behavior. This is just so inappropriate. All right, let's move on. Question 23 of 25 questions. You haven't hit that like button. Now is the time. We're winding down to the last few letters of the show tonight of What the Fuck Tuesday. We will be back on Friday, though. So if you have a question that you want to send in for the show, look in the show description down below. You'll see a link that says Get Advice, Get Free Advice, something like that. Just click it and send in your question. There's a form that you have to fill out and then we'll add it to the queue. Now, I have to be honest, not every letter gets picked. It has to be something of general interest or funny or something like that. But, we do try to get a wide variety of letters in and from people all over the world. So, no matter where you are, you can send your letter in and we will handle it if it's a good one. So hit that like button. Be sure to do that and hit the subscription button. Let's move on. Okay, female, she's an 18 to 21 age group from Washington, D.C. Hi, hello, Auntie Deb. I'm 19 and I've been in an amazing relationship with my 21-year-old boyfriend, but I've noticed that he has a very different social environment from me that I think I see as toxically masculine. It's hard to explain, but he's in the Greek system, and I've noticed a lot of problematic views of women that exist in black frats at school. Shit, black frats, white frats, all frats, they just are a trip. Recently, we got into a disagreement because I mentioned that I'd gotten catcalled and noticed men leering at me because what I wore was more revealing. While he conceded that the attention I was getting was disrespectful, he said it was simply because they thought I was physically attractive. When I said I disagreed with that view, I got hit with some defensiveness and it didn't sit right with me. I didn't know how to explain my side because I'm not as eloquent when it comes to women's rights and feminism, and I'm not educated myself on how to get the men in my life to understand the harm of microaggressions and benevolent sexism. Are there any good resources, communication style, or tips to open up more discourse and education about this, especially in the context of a relationship? No, because you got to remember, you dealing with a young dude. He's only 21 years old and he's still stupid. Okay, you trying to elevate him in the word ways of mature men and how men are supposed to be and conduct themselves like gentlemen and all this kind of stuff. It depends on him. Like if he was raised with his father, and the father had any sense, he would know better than this. Especially, he respects the father respects the mother, or there's any daughters in the household, the father would teach his sons that this is not how you talk to women and that's not how you behave, right? But if you have, so many young men are growing up in fatherless homes, or their fathers are exactly the kind of men that you're talking about, that are, catcall and holler at women on the street and roll up next to them in their cars and just act a zip damn fool, thirsty. So, this is the kind of thing that you're trying to, at 19, thinking that you should even have the tools in which to educate a grown man, even though he's young, he's a grown man, about sexism and the damage that this kind of behavior by men who feel entitled to women's time, attention, and bodies will do. And they even do the stuff to, really young girls like 13 or 14 years old. Just disgusting, and it damages them. It hurts them. So in a situation like this, you just step back. But I'm going to tell you his attitude where he excuses their behavior, saying, "Well, they only thought they did that because they thought you were physically attractive." What that's doing is putting the responsibility for their negative behavior on you, as if to say, "Well, if you were ugly, you wouldn't have got catcalled," and that's not true either. They catcall children. They catcall old people. I mean, girls, people in suits going to work, professional women. I mean, it doesn't matter. This rudeness and the triflingness is in those men who think that that's okay to talk to women on the street like that. It's nothing to do with how the women are dressed. His mentality is that, like, well, a woman got sexually assaulted because her skirt was too short. That's the mindset that your dude has. Okay, I want you to understand that you connect these dots. At 19, you old enough for somebody to talk to you like that, and so that's what I'm gonna do. It. You have to start thinking broader and understand when men have express certain attitudes, what it means. Go deeper. Don't just listen to the words. And this is a good habit for you to start getting into now, as at 19, so that as you start dating, when you're in, you're talking to guys, you're on dates with them, having conversations, you'll be able to glean from their conversation what their true attitudes are about women, and you know when to exit stage left. I'm going to tell you, you might like this dude, but he's an idiot. This is no kind of dude that you need to be around. Is it this? He's making excuses. This would be the kind of thing where something happened to you, by attacked by some guy. Well, what did you have on? Why were you there? You shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have worn that. It's gonna be your fault. This is the mentality that your boyfriend has. Okay, you call it an amazing relationship, but I'm gonna tell you this: how a man thinks about women is at the core of who he is, his character as a man. Okay, if you have a man who makes excuses for other men to when they mistreat women, that is not an amazing man. That's a trash motherfucker. Unfortunately, most men fit that category. They don't seem to understand what that their acknowledgement and support of this kind of tragic and tawdry behavior towards young women is wrong. It's grounded in sexism and is grounded in a sense of entitlement towards women. It's damaging to women. It's like your little young girls can't even feel good about themselves walking down the street in a cute outfit because these kind of men are going to assume that's an invitation for them to clown her and say all kind of nasty things about her body to her and about her. This is wrong on every level that I can think of. You can play this tape for him if you want to. I don't know what kind of relationship you guys have in that respect, but I'm telling you, this is just the beginning. You're going to hear a lot more of this kind of stuff because this is how he thinks. And to me, how a man thinks is even more important than what kind of money he's got or what he looks like. Because if I can't respect how you think and how you conduct yourself as a man, how you roll through the world and what kind of values and morals you have, then we can't be together. I don't care how much money you got and how fine you are and how good your sex game is. I'm not going to be with you because I can't respect you because of the way that you think and the way that the things that you think are okay. Your value system is all fucked up. Okay, so you start thinking bigger. You think bigger about what these men are saying to you and what those words really mean. And you will understand what I'm saying here. And as you get older, you will see it play out. Right now, it's probably just words to you because you're only 19 years old. As you start rolling through the world more, you'll get to see what I mean in real life. So you think about this later, and you'll see what I mean. Let's move on to question 24. This is our next to last question of the evening. This is a young lady in the 30 to 36 age group from Lichfield, Staffordshire, England. I hope I pronounced that right. Anyway, it's a very long and boring story, but I will try to keep it short and sweet. Oh, thank you. I really need some impartial advice about a rather difficult situation. I have two primary school children who do not see their father. He was abusive towards both the children and me. Oh no. Primary school, that's like elementary school. There's a court order for no contact. Wow, that means it had to be bad. The children miss their father and also his side of the family. His parents would love to see them and are aware of how abusive he is as he also abuses them. I would love the children to see his parents as I think it would be really good for them. As long as we establish ground rules and they are kept to them, I don't really see it being an issue. I would, of course, also be there. But this is a massive but. I know my ex will be very angry as he's already banned his family from seeing the kids. He is also angry that the courts believed he is abusive. Even though I think it would be really positive thing to do for the children, I need to be realistic about the possible risk it could put us in, but possibly me, particularly me. I really, really don't know what to do that's best. Any ideas for how I can work through this? You're not going to do that. That's how you're going to work through this. You have a court order. Did that part escape you? That means not only him, but his raggedy ass parents too. He abused them. Don't you think that that household is where he learned to be like this? Don't you have any kind of thinking like, wow, if he is an abusive person, that means he grew up in an abusive household where he saw that kind of stuff modeled. And so you're going to take your kids from their abusive daddy who abused his own parents because that means he's a little fucker, and you're going to put them in a situation where they're around some other relatives of this abusive person, this whole abusive circle, and you think that would be a really good thing to do? You're going to tell your kids that them motherfuckers are dead. That's what you're going to do. Your granny and your grandpa are dead, and so is your daddy. And you'll never see any of them again. You'll never talk to them on the phone, nothing. I changed my number and move. Move to the other side of the country. Move to another country, someplace where they can't even begin to find you. Your job, your number one priority on this planet, lady, is to protect those kids. And you want to just put them in a situation. Oh, I think it would be a good idea. It's a good thing. Where's it good? Tell me where this is a good thing. What benefit are these kids going to derive from having a relationship with some people who are related and who birthed and raised that abuser, the same person who hurt them? How is that gonna benefit them kids? You're stupid right now. You going in your feelings, a typical woman. You're not using your brain. You going by your feelings. Because these people begged you to see your kids. This would have been a conversation was Deb. Ring ring. Hello? Here go my phone. Hello? Oh, Deborah, this is Janet and Ricky. So and so's parents. We want to see the kids. What kids? Our grandchildren. You don't have any grandchildren. What are you talking about? Who is this anyway? Bitch, get off my phone. Block. And that's that. Now, you want to talk about how your kids feel about it. Your kids are like, oh, um, that's your ex's name? Sorry. Oh, I want to see grandpa. I want to see grandma. No. You're not going to see them, and you're never going to see them again until you are old enough to go around them and fight your way out of any situation that they put you in. Right now, you're too little, and I don't feel like going to jail. So we ain't going to see them motherfuckers. You got it? Don't ask me about them no more. They're dead to you. So it's just like your raggedy ass daddy. Yeah. Block. Block, block, blockity block. Mm-mm. Because they know they related to him. And what you going to do? Okay, you say you're going to meet him at a restaurant, right? And you go to the restaurant. Oh, and look, 5, 10 tables away, just so happens to be your ex. And he comes wandering over to the table. Oh, it's a public place, right? I was here before you because he found out where you all was going to meet from his raggedy parents. As he abuses them, they tell him stuff. So here he is, and he's like, oh, seeing the kids, which he's not supposed to do, and seeing you, which he's not supposed to do. But you would have created that situation by having a big mouth and telling him where to meet you so your kids can allegedly see them, and it's some benefit that you imagine that they're going to be getting out of that. All it's going to do is cause a whole bunch of shit, and it's going to be your fault for doing it because you was being stupid and emotional. Protect your children. Keep them away from that whole family. I'm telling you, pack up and move. You in Lichfield, England, somewhere. Move to a big city like London, somewhere where they can't find you and get lost. Or better yet, move to like Scotland or something. Okay, and our last question of the night, question 25, female, 31 to 36, from Ann Arbor, Michigan. I was hoping this didn't come up in my next long-term relationship, but I guess it's inevitable. I have been dating, now living with my boyfriend for almost 2 years. I love him very much, and he's definitely way better than my exes and my ex-husband. The relationship, of course, has flaws and issues that we're working on, but money seems to be the biggest issue in my mind. We've been living paycheck to paycheck since we were pretty much started dating. We've realized our shortcomings, like we don't make a lot at our jobs. I'm in debt. He's in debt. We're working on fixing that. About 2 months ago, he quit his job and lied to me that the company owed him money. So I was on a rampage to help him retrieve that money, only to find out that he'd been lying for weeks. The company didn't owe him anything, and it started 2 months of him not working and having no income. Wow, so he just quit without another job to go to, and y'all was already living paycheck to paycheck? He did finally get a new job, and he starts May 3rd. It's great pay, too. So because he's not getting any income, our bills are late, mostly all of them, including rent. I'm not happy about it, and I've been very vocal about that. He doesn't want to dwell on the negativity, and he has apologized. He feels bad, but he doesn't want to dwell. I can't help but dwell because this mistake has now echoed and our bills are now late and I can't afford all of them on my own, so it sucks. I'm angry and we argue about it. Mostly me being mad and him telling me that I don't need to keep reminding him. Okay, so what's the question here? I'm guessing that because you mad, you want to figure out what you do. Okay, first of all, two healthy motherfuckers, why don't you both of y'all have a second job? That you just go to work, you just go to one job, and then you come and park your ass at home and start relaxing with your broke asses? That's not how things do. Okay, you the days that you don't work, you're supposed to have a part-time job. Down here, they have people working at Walmart on the weekends because it's very busy. You can have a weekend job. Whatever, even if it's only part-time, you work 5, 6 hours or whatever, 2 days, and then that's extra money to help you pay down this bill or have a financial cushion, right? Work in a shop, doing something, selling something, retail, whatever you need to do. Work at an ice cream, a coffee shop. I don't give a fuck what you do, but you should both have two jobs. There should be no reason why you sitting around stressing about money and fighting him about it and y'all fighting and acting stupid when both of you are healthy and able-bodied and should go out and have two jobs. That's what you need to do. Did you never think of that? Okay. Then um you got this job and you got a job where you're not making too much money. Have you not been looking for a different better one in 2 years? Why are you still working some little minimum wage type of job and you in your 30s? Do we not have education to support that? If not, if that's the case, in that time that you wasn't working and you wasn't working two jobs, you should have been doing something to advance yourself online. Okay. I see a whole bunch of irresponsibility and mistakes made here in this crazy farce that you guys call a relationship. And yes, he was definitely wrong to quit his job without having a second one. I'm with you on that. That was totally irresponsible. But the fact that you feel like you should cover everything, Have y'all looked into filing bankruptcy? I don't know. Do they have bankruptcy in the UK? I don't know what it is. What it is. I mean, how much different? Oh, I'm sorry. You were the ones. You're in Ann Arbor. The other people were the ones in England. Oh yeah, they have bankruptcy in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Look into it and see how much money you can save and do a reorganization or do something. Chapter 11 and reorganize your bill and get payments set up and stuff. It'll be lower than what you're doing right now. There's ways around this. You guys aren't thinking and you're not working together. You're just fighting and acting stupid. It's like two people operating independently that's supposed to be in a relationship. Y'all are broke. Okay, that means it's going to require for both of you to get your asses straight and start working together to alleviate the situation. Investigate all possible avenues that I have just said in this response. Hopefully, one of them will work for you, or preferably more than one. Okay. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. How you gonna be this old and acting this stupid? I'm just kind of done. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's selection of wildness, the face palming that was going on, and the oh my God that happened. And be here on Friday because we'll be having our flummoxed Friday show where you just left in your head like, I don't understand what's going on here. Why is this happening? What's wrong with these people? Thank you for the people who donated the super chat revenue. I appreciate every dime. And I'm happy those of you who are new here made it to a live stream. Please come back. Thanks, Ladybug. See, I can't stop it. I just know her as Ladybug. Shade the light. Ah, is always here and got our back and keeping you guys on the straight and narrow so you don't get too jiggy. But I will be back on Friday. If you have a question that you want to submit for consideration for the show on Friday night, look in the show description down below and click that link. Send in your question and we'll consider it for a future show. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I'll see you on Friday night, okay? Thank you once again for showing up and supporting the channel. Bye bye.